Hey everyone, welcome. Thank you for joining. Happy opening day special episode of the 412 Double Play podcast this week. I am, as always, your host, Michael Castrogano. Joining me for this special episode, my double play partner for the day, a fellow prospect junkie, Christian Wolf. Christian, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me on, Michael. I do really appreciate it. I don't do podcasts too often, so this is an exciting opportunity for me too, for sure.
Well, I've asked you on a couple times trying to get you on to talk about prospects, talk about the Pirates.
Right.
Obviously, we're going to talk about opening day in a second, but because this team has been on a tear, you're a frequent poster of game tape on X, Twitter, however
Hmm.
you refer to it, for both the affiliates and the major league team.
Right.
What drew you to this particular content and medium for like posting that?
So I started in 2022 is when I really first started following minor league baseball, and it was just me really being bored in my dorms because we start college semester usually late August, and there's still some minor league ball going on. So I would just hook up my computer to my TV, put some prospects on, and whenever something exciting would happen, a home run or a starting pitcher would go successively with some strikeouts, just make some clips and then throw them online, and people really started to like that. And then I did it. I don't want to say full time, but I did it a lot last season, and I really took off. So this is something I've really enjoyed, and it makes me happy to see other people like it too. I think that minor league baseball is something that if you like the Bucks, you need to watch them too, because these guys are what's going to make this team. If they're going to have a chance, these are the guys that's going to do it.
Yeah, and we're celebrating opening day, but we're obviously not recording this on Friday. We don't know what's going on in the remaining games of the Washington series. The team
Mhm.
is pretty fun right now
Right.
at the major
Yep.
league level. At least some of that is due in part to the development in the minor league. Indianapolis, they kicked off their season last week, while Altoona, Greensboro, and Bradenton start today, Friday. Talent up and down the system, even with the promotions the past few years. Which farm team jumps out to you the most? Which one do you like best for its talent this year?
So I look at Altuna's rotation as really the area I'm going to focus on. Paul Skeens is obviously the number one when it comes to pitching within the Pirates system, but then you're going to look at Altoona and they're going to have Bubba Chandler, they're going to have Braxton Ashcraft. Thomas Harrington's going to start in high A, but he's going to move to double A before too long. So that's three guys who I'm really high on, and I believe all three, um, maybe not Ashcraft, but Harrington made ESPN's top 100. Bubba Chandler is on pretty much every top 100 list there is right now. And these are guys who I'm just very excited to watch this year because the Pirates rotation we can see right now isn't the strength of the team, but these guys are getting closer. We're going to see Skeen soon. We're seeing Jones already. And if these guys can just keep their production going in, even as young guys who probably aren't going to produce right away, they're guys who are going to be a massive part of the future if this team wants to compete.
Yeah, the issue with, Harrington is starting at Greensboro, probably in part due to being delayed with
Right,
the shoulder injury. I
right.
think he'll be up in Altoona before too long. He spent
Mhm.
a good portion of last year, at least, at Greensboro. But
Right.
there's just so much depth that it's kind of pushing those guys back. You look at the rotation in Indianapolis with Priester and Skeens, and then the guys that they need to get starts for in Lauer and Domingo Herman, who are not, NRI guys, but there's just only so many innings for so many prospects. So some of them, they sometimes need to get pushed back a little bit. A prospect arm that you didn't mention, a top one, Anthony Solomito,
Mhm.
um, kind of, in my mind, goes under the radar. I think when I did my top 30 a few months ago, I had him at either 3 or 4 behind the obvious 2 or 3. But what are your thoughts on like what the ceiling could be for someone with his kind of control and funky delivery?
So his delivery is something I'm glad you mentioned because it is so hard for a lot of these batters to pick up on his stuff. He just throws super hard. He's going to go low 90s, maybe mid 90s, but with his motion, especially if you're a left-handed batter, if he's throwing a slider, it's going to just slide out of the plate, or if you don't know whether you want to, be ready for a fastball, or you have to be prepared for a ball to just go wiping out, and then you can't hit it. And that's all because of his motion. And, when you can do that, you don't have to throw super hard. Velocity is definitely an area that's important. It's becoming more and more important. But when you have control like he has, and you have emotion like that, that you can throw and control your pitches, then it's really, really hard for batters to pick up on that. And that's his strength. So, like I said, you don't have to throw super hard. And he's, even for double A, he's a young pitcher. So there's no rush on him at all. And he can struggle and he can figure things out. And I could see him, having a solid year at double A. Maybe he makes a quick triple A stop before the year's over. He could absolutely be part of the Pirates' future rotation.
Yeah. And the rotation so far, we've only seen it one time through, has done okay. I think
Hmm.
it still has room for improvement, but the bats have been able to pick it up. But that's kind of all the prospects who have risen up in recent years. Henry Davis, Jerry Triolo. We're not seeing as much depth in the minor leagues. We obviously have Termarr Johnson as the top bat, and as you mentioned to me before, I think a couple the other night, that he's going to start the year in Greensboro, which I think is a bit unexpected.
Right.
What are
Mhm.
your thoughts on him starting back at High A, where he spent pretty much half of the season last year and really doesn't figure to improve any? But what are your thoughts on him going back to Greensboro to start
Yeah, I
2024?
definitely don't agree with it because Greensboro is a place where he's gonna hit. I mean, balls fly out of there. He's gonna hit home runs. He's gonna hit for average. I mean, maybe they, I'm not sure. Maybe they don't want him to push guys out at Altoona right now. But when you're a top prospect like he is, just move. I get that he's young, and maybe they want to tweak a few things. But when you look at his numbers, even at low A and then at high A, it was essentially the same. I don't think he really has anything else to prove there. I think he's ready for another jump. And it's disappointing. And he might not be there long. He might not be, but I don't see any real reason why he has to start high A. I don't think he has anything else to prove, just like you said.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be most likely a short stay. Whatever they need him to work on. If there, I don't think there's really anyone blocking his way. The only other top hitting prospect we have, Shungshi Cheng, Z, as people have told me to refer to him because I'm not going to get the correct pronunciation of it.
Mhm.
Probably playing shortstop at Altoona most games. Termarr Johnson's pretty much moved off that
Yeah,
role. He should
yep,
be okay at second base most days, but
right.
like the offense isn't great in the minor leagues. Are there any offensive contributors in the minor leagues who you think are poised to have a big season, whether it's in AAA all the way down to like the DSL or FSL?
So I look at Jack Brannigan as a guy who I really think is going to get some attention this year. Briefly when he was at Bradenton, then he made that jump to high A, and he really took off. He has a ton of power, and his defense is very impressive too. I know we're discussing the offense, but overall, I think he's a player who really, I don't want to say flies under the radar, but he's a guy that I just people don't think know enough about yet. And I think this year is going to be a big year for him. I think he's going to hit a lot of home runs. I think he's going to hit for average, and I think he's a plus defender as well. So you see him playing third base, you see him playing shortstop. Obviously shortstop
Yep.
is not really an open position right now with O'Neal Cruz. But like they say, if you can hit, they'll find a spot for you. So I think people are going to see his bat and really pay some more attention to him right now. And like you said, the Pirates don't have a ton of bats in the system. You have Brannigan, obviously you have Johnson, you have Mitch Jebb. But after that, you kind of look like, maybe Lonnie White's a guy who's going to break out. But six of the top seven prospects for the Pirates are pitchers. So you really need someone just to make that jump and say, okay, I'm going to be that guy with Termarr Johnson who really can hit.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, I'm a big fan of Lonnie White Jr., so
Mhm,
I've been a believer in him. Really
mhm.
excited when he got drafted. Obviously, with a lot of those pitchers, with Chandler and Salamito, and certainly they're going to be coming up. While it is the first day of the season for Altoona, Greensboro, Bradenton, it's also, today being Friday, the home opener for the Pirates. I wrote up a piece for Steel City Pirates with some of my thoughts on it, as well as comments from a few friends on what opening day means to them. It's my first opening day in PNC Park. I'm actually attending in person. Closest I got was the second game of the season many years ago. Obviously, I'm not in the area, but excited to be making the cross state trip, get to see the team live. Lots of excitement building up for this. But you live in Pittsburgh, you're from the area. Um, as a fan of the team and being in that environment each year, currently on the precipice of contention in 2024, what does opening day in Pittsburgh mean to you?
I mean, when you have winning baseball in Pittsburgh, there's just nothing like it. There's nothing like it. And when you're an outside fan, you might look at PNC Park when the Pirates are losing and see an empty stadium and be like, Pittsburgh doesn't care. And that's just not the case at all. Pittsburgh cares. And when they're winning, they will show up. And so it's kind of like an added bonus that the Pirates are having the start that they are. And I think Friday, it helps that it's a Friday as opposed to like a Monday or Tuesday. But I think it is just going to be just a sight to see. And I'm jealous that I am not going to be able to go. I might go to a weekend game, but opening day, there's nothing like it. The North Shore is going to just be in a frenzy. And especially when they're going to be facing a team like the Orioles, who has, just like the Pirates, a lot of young guys that are really exciting to watch. I think this is going to be an excellent matchup. And just the added excitement, like you said. I mean, this is a team that fans have a reason to be excited about. So it's going to be sold out. It's going to be loud. And how about Jared Jones getting the start? That just adds a little bit extra to it too. And I think it is going to be just an incredible atmosphere.
Yeah, the park projects to be a pretty fun environment. If you guys are there, 4:12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today, Friday, April 5th, versus the Orioles. Hope to see you there. Hope to have a PNC blackout, as the
Yep.
fans are predicting to be.
Yep.
But we're just doing a short episode today, so appreciate Christian jumping on. That wraps it up for all of us here at the 412 Double Play Podcast. If you're listening, if you're watching, you can see Christian. You can follow him on X at CWolfPGH. Follow me at 412 Double Play. Continue listening to the show, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, wherever else you find your podcasts. Subscribe so you get notified when we drop episodes like this one. Check out my articles and articles of other podcasters that work with me at steelcity.com. The link is in the description. As always, of course, thank you for checking out the show from all of us here at the 412 Double Play Podcast. Thank you for joining for this special episode. Happy opening day. Hope to see you at the park today, and let's go Bucks.
Let's go Bucks.
All right, take it away, Sawyer.
Lady Jolly Roger, dude.